This is actually true and still scares me today. When I was little, around 4 or 5, I woke up with a fright. I had had a nightmare. I could hear the slamming of the rain outside as I crept into my parents' room, too scared to stay on my own. As I shuffled into my parents' room, I saw this girl just standing there, not much older than me, in a ragged dress, without shoes, and she had leaves in her hair. She was staring at me, but I was too young to really understand, so I walked right through her. I got into bed with my parents, and I didn't really think much of that until just now. I was home alone and watching YouTube in my 2-story house. The stair light was off, and I just ignored any sound as I own cats. But I heard my cat meowing as if he was being strangled or angry. I turned on the stair light and ran upstairs with a kitchen knife. In my room, my cat was standing at the window. It was open. Seriously, I was 10 years old and someone broke in. If you want to know what happened after, I called the police while sitting under the table with my pets. They never found the guy, as far as I know. This happened to my sister. She was alone at night with her 2 small daughters at our house because me and my parents went to our uncle's house, and her husband worked overtime. She was getting ready to go to bed after watching a horror movie. She then checked on her children and went to her room. So she goes to bed, but she heard a scratching at the window and knocking. But she thought it was just her imagination, so she didn't do anything. But after a while, she just couldn't sleep, so she opened her eyes, and when she did, she saw 2 big red eyes staring at her from the window. And her room was on the 2nd floor, so I don't think it was a human or animal. She flicked on the lights and there was nothing in the window, so she ran to her daughter's room and spent the night there. She got seriously terrified. Now she has nyctophobia, and she really can't handle the darkness. This happened to my uncle. So he used to work in a railway station or something, and it was very, very dark at night around there. He was the last one working since he had to finish up a project. He was riding his bike home when he saw 2 extremely beautiful women. It was like their skin was glowing. Since he was a skeptic, he wondered why there are 2 women out there this late at night. They started to call his name and ask him to come closer. He freaked out and started to ride his bike all the way home in quick speed. Next thing you know, they started chasing him. He recited a couple spiritual lines and finally made it up to the house, but he collapsed at the front door. His family brought him in, and for the first couple of days, he was in no condition to talk or anything. But after a couple days, he told his family. This was in India, and it's true. My friend told me this story. Okay, so her aunt has 4 kids. In the middle of the night, she has the urge to check up on them. She went into her youngest daughter's room and she was fine. She checked on all 3 of her daughters before she went into her only son's room. She saw him lying there, fast asleep. She went back to bed, but at 4 a.m. she woke up and had the urge to check on them again. All of her daughters were fine, but when she went into her son's room, he was asleep with a balloon tied onto his wrist and a bag on his face. I'm an only child. One night my mom was in bed by herself as my dad was downstairs and I was in bed. While she was trying to get to sleep, she didn't hear a door open or footsteps, but she felt the weight of the bed go down. She just thought it was my dad, but she felt no one. A few hours later, my dad walked in. "Were you up here earlier?" she asked. "No," he answered. She then asked me and I replied with no. The next night, she found a note on her door saying, You made me warm last night in bed." And she didn't recognize the handwriting. This story happened a while ago in Dublin, and even though it sounds like an Alfred Hitchcock tale, it's true. John Bradford, an English student at the University of Dublin, was on the side of the road hitchhiking on a very dark night in the midst of a big storm. The night was rolling on and not a car went by. The storm was so strong he could hardly see a few feet ahead of him. Suddenly, he saw a car slowly coming towards him and stop. John, desperate for shelter and without thinking, got into the car and closed the door, only to realize there was no one behind the wheel and the engine wasn't on. The car started moving slowly. John looked at the road ahead and saw a curve approaching. Scared, he started to pray, begging for his life. Then, just before the car hit the curve, a hand appeared out of nowhere through the window and turned the wheel. John, paralyzed with terror, watched as the hand came through the window but never touched or harmed him. Shortly thereafter, John saw the lights of a pub appear down the road, so gathering strength, he jumped out of the car and ran to it. Wet and out of breath, he rushed inside and started telling everyone about the horrible experience he had just had. A silence enveloped the pub when everybody realized he was crying and wasn't drunk. Suddenly the door opened and 2 other people walked in from the dark and stormy night. They, like John, were also soaked and out of breath. Looking around and seeing John Bradford sobbing at the bar, one said to the other, "Look, Patty, there's the idiot that got in the car while we were pushing it." Okay, you gotta admit that last one was pretty good. I didn't even see that ending coming first time I was reading it. Hilarious. Thanks for watching this video. I really mean it. I hope you're enjoying this Halloween series. If you want to see more videos like this, just leave a like and a comment. Let me know that you want to see and that you'll come back for more, and I'll keep making them. If you want to check out a couple more videos I've made this month, just click one of those little adorable faces right up in this picture. Yeah, go and click them. You know you want to.